The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
And it's all the way down at the end. I can't believe I had a blooper where I turned to the screen to start reading. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and it's time for a news video. You know I don't usually put together a news video unless it's a pretty major headline for the Power Rangers franchise, and that indeed is what we have today. The future of the Power Rangers franchise has been shrouded in doubt, just like I'm kind of shrouded in darkness right now, since the rumor come out that Hasbro and Toei is break up.
The rumor is out of standardize of hoax.
What?
In fact, the only thing we've really been sure about with the franchise post-Dino Fury is the new movie coming out, reportedly being directed by Jonathan Entwistle. Well, that's been confirmed. And we know the future of the Power Rangers franchise, and the two of them are very, very strongly related. This time, Hasbro actually broke this news themselves, sending out a press release to all of those wonderful Ranger news outlets that are not me. However, since I follow all of those outlets, I got to see it as well, at the same time everybody else did. The press release was sent out via Entertainment One, Hasbro's newly acquired production studio. They confirmed that indeed, producer-director Jonathan Entwistle has signed on to run the brand new Power Rangers reboot movie. However, Entwistle has also signed on to run the Power Rangers television adaptations, produced by E1. One of the real kickers to this story lies in the headline itself to the press release, and the press release in general teaches us about the use of very specific language and what can be read into that. Jonathan Entwistle signs on to reimagine new film and television universe based on Hasbro's Power Rangers for Entertainment One. Film and television universe. One singular universe. This is major development number one, though to be honest, thinking about it, I feel like we had heard hints to this at some point in the past. Going forward, Power Rangers is going to have a shared universe that will consist of both the movies and the TV shows. This could be fantastic. The creation of a larger Power Rangers world in which you can tell all kinds of stories. Telling all kinds of stories is something else that we're going to get to, as a matter of fact. This can actually go in either direction, that idea of cross-pollination that was carried over from Saban Brands itself, as a matter of fact. You could see the movies focus in on a particular moment on the TV show. Think about a Green with Evil movie based on a Mighty Morphin season, for example. Or you could see a team from the movies drop in on the TV show. Crossovers are huge right now. For Power Rangers, all you need to do is look at the very next episode of Beast Morphers. I saw this pointed out by Andre at Black Nerd Comedy because, trust me, anybody with a social media presence that is at least somewhat focused on Power Rangers is making content about this headline. The press release is focusing a lot on the word reimagined, reimagining. The presidents of E1 directly used the term, and Entwistle kind of danced around it, talking about updating old ideas, bringing the analog into the future, etc., etc. I was thinking about it, and I had what I think is a really good idea about how this can apply between the upcoming movie and a potential new TV show. When the Boom Comics began, they started with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Brand new Power Rangers video games lately? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Beast Morphers needs a boost from a crossover? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So I think it stands to reason, or at least there's a very good chance, that the first entry in this new line of television shows for Power Rangers would be the 13,000th new take on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now, why is this relevant to the idea of a shared universe? The rumored plot of Entwistle's Power Rangers movie is about a team of Rangers from the future visiting the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the 1990s. What if the team that team from the future ends up visiting is the team that's in the brand new TV show? The movie would serve as an introduction, a perfect introduction to that new team and that new show, because as those Rangers from the future learn about this team of ancient Rangers from history, we're learning about them as well. Heck, they can even go the Star Trek route. Something has happened that has caused changes to the timeline. Little minor changes, but enough to establish a separate timeline, meaning the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers still exist, and now we have this version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with some little changes here and there, and it looks different. However, as I hinted, there's actually a second bit of buried treasure in this press release, and it's down at the end. In addition to the new NonKid projects under Entwistle, Power Rangers-inspired kid series Beast Morphers is currently in Season 2. By the way, you hear that, Variety? It's Beast Morphers that's in Season 2, not Dino Fury. But let's break this down, shall we? Number 1. The new projects under Entwistle are specifically being referred to as NonKid. And this is a point I actually want to stress because as much respect as I have for Mr. Black Nerd Comedy himself, I do believe that he misinterpreted this in his video. He seemed to think that the NonKid projects that they were referring to were Entwistle's Netflix shows, I Am Not Okay With This, and The End of the Effing World. However, those projects are not new, and the press release specifically refers to new NonKid projects. It's clearly referring to the Power Rangers projects, the new movie and the new TV shows. But yeah, NonKid. We had a feeling that was going to be a case with the movie, probably aiming at the same PG-13 crowd that the previous movie did. But Entwistle is also doing Power Rangers television, and apparently this television is going to be NonKid. Whoa, that raises some exciting possibilities. How long have I been begging for a Riverdale-esque Power Rangers show in that Flash or Arrow mold? Hey, fun fact, by the way, I've never actually seen a single episode of anything in the Arrowverse.
Oh, dropped a critic bomb there.
And this ties quite well into... Number 2. Power Rangers inspired, whatever the heck Power Rangers inspired means, as Ranger Liz pointed out in her video, it's just Power Rangers. Kid series Beast Morphers. So the show that's adapting the Sentai footage, at least for now, is Kid series, and what Entwistle is doing is NonKid. Again, a larger Power Rangers universe, a shared world. This seems to imply that we're going to have multiple Power Rangers television shows, a series for the kids and a series for the older folks. When we think about what a franchise like Power Rangers is capable of, what are some franchises and companies that we might want it to emulate? Let's see here. Action-focused, good for all genders, appeals to a wide age range of people. Wow, this really could be a marvel of a franchise, huh? Let's take a look at the company that, sorry DC fans, is kind of dominating the comic entertainment landscape right now. Movies that are made for an older audience? Check. TV shows that skew still to a somewhat older audience and tie into that cinematic universe? Check in the past, and check coming up in the future. And content like cartoons that's made specifically for the kids? Cinnamon checks in the bowl. And wow, if only there were some precedent for an animated show from a long-running legacy franchise airing on Nickelodeon. By the way, in a totally unrelated note, did you folks hear that Kate Mulgrew is going to be reprising her role as Catherine Janeway on Star Trek Prodigy, an animated series that's going to be airing on Nickelodeon from the long-standing Star Trek franchise? There have been hints that Power Rangers is going to go animated, and I really think all of this news just fits right into that. There won't be as many of us older geeks complaining about an animated series. Note that I said as many. There are always some of us older geeks complaining about something or other. If we have an amazing, jaw-dropping series skewed for older fans on the table. I think this is the one thing that we can really glean from today's headline, something that I've actually already said, but it is good to have some confirmation. Hasbro has plans for the Power Rangers franchise on television post Dino Fury. They're not pulling a Star Trek The Next Generation and taking a successful TV show and hoarding it just to be in the movies. I'm going to have at least one Power Rangers television show to review. And from the sounds of it, probably at least two. In fact, that's really the largest takeaway that me and many other fans are taking from this news. Hasbro has big plans for the Power Rangers franchise. And that is relieving because it had actually been pretty quiet lately. Beast Morphers has been really good in Season 2, but we knew that the show was getting a new executive producer next year anyway, in Simon Bennett. And by the way, a little bit on that, I haven't seen Bennett's name mentioned in any of this news. I don't imagine that it impacts him too much directly. I figure that he'll either be reporting to Entwistle or just running the show on TV for 1 or 2 more years and then handing the franchise over to him. A theme I've been hearing from Hasbro with Power Rangers for a few years now is that they've been learning the franchise. There's been a slow process of transition in the TV show's writing room as the Hasbro writers learn the franchise. The Lightning Collection is still getting over some bumps in the road because the toy makers are still learning the franchise. And the Beast Morpher Zord toys, well, they're still learning the franchise. This press release to me, well, it's funny. In a way, it kind of bridges two of my worlds because there was another big headline for me today in the world of sports. In the NFL, the Miami Dolphins are reportedly set to name their star rookie quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, their starting quarterback. This in spite of the fact that the veteran that has been starting, Ryan Fitzpatrick, has actually been playing rather well as of late. The thinking seems to be that there just comes a point in time where the kid is finally ready to work without a net, to go out there and have the game resting on his shoulders. This, to me, is the same exact case. This press release is Hasbro announcing that they're ready to take the reins off of Power Rangers and take this franchise to all the places that they see it as being capable of going. They have exciting plans to craft Power Rangers into a multi-pronged franchise that can maybe get up near the levels of taking on things like Marvel and Star Wars. And you know that the Orange Ranger, even in Halloween as the Pumpkin Ranger, will be right here telling you what he thinks of all of it. And that is going to wrap up another Power Rangers news video. Thank you, heroes, so much, as always, for watching. Now that the video's done, what do you think of this headline? What do you think it means? There's a lot of interpretation, like I said, in the press release. Do you think that I misread any of it, or do you agree with my take on it? And how do you feel about all these goings-on? Let me know about that, and let's have a discussion down in the comments below. And while you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button and let me know that you enjoy this video. I'm pretty sure I didn't mention this at the beginning of the video, so I really would appreciate if you would make sure you're subscribed to my channel to see all of my videos. Ring the bell, get your notifications set up so you're notified of whenever I post brand new, unexpected videos like these Power Rangers news videos. And if you'd like to lend any financial support to my channel, please consider checking me out on Patreon or Ko-fi at OrangeRangerVideos. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. You know the Orange Ranger doesn't usually bother throwing together... I don't want to say bother, that makes me sound conceited. Producer-director Jonathan Entwistle had to tell deep, enriched ad-libbing. Tua Tagovailoa because of Tua Tagovailoa. Wow. Well, in a funny way, it kind of relates to another headline in one of my major worlds that came out today in... That doesn't even make any sense. I'm pretty sure I didn't say this at the beginning of the video, so I really would appreciate it. Oh, shoot. Again, I'm like, bleh.